How we doing today? This is Center for Enhancing Abilities. My name is Tony, and today I got a special treat for you. Usually I'm on here doing some music. Today I have my lovely wife, Stephanie, who is a 7th grade science teacher in Clifton. And, you know, since we're all home here, we managed to bring, well, she managed to bring, with a little help from me, all her classroom pets. So today we're gonna call this session Creature Feature. So we're gonna talk a little bit. Well, I'm gonna turn over the reins to her. I'm gonna switch over to cameraman, and I'm gonna let her clue you in on some of our exotic creatures here. Hold on one second. I'm going to fix something on here. There we go. There we go. It says Morales in the background. Morales team. All right. Here we go. Hold on. Let me switch the camera. It's still on me. All right. Here we go. There we go. All right. Okay.
All set? So every long break and every summer, all of my classroom animals come home. One of the highlights of my 7th grade science classroom is my tank of Madagascar hissing cockroaches. These are the world's largest cockroaches. They are endemic to Madagascar. These are not your average cockroaches. These are certainly much larger. They are indeed the world's largest cockroach. They do not have wings. They do not fly. I feed them fruit, and I feed them cat food for protein. They have a sponge for water. Do you see them nibbling at their orange over here? So the kids in the classroom get to hold them if they choose, and they come in handy. If you want to come focus over here, we have 2 of our little friends in here. All right, lady. All right. So this is a female, and the other one is a male. It just tickles when they walk on you. A lot of my students are nervous to touch them, and then they feel brave because they're not going to hurt you. They are insects. They have their 2 antennae. I don't know if you could see its little head under here. So they have a little triangle head, which is under the surface of their shell. Their eyes are actually right in front. So as they are scooting along, walking along the rainforest floor, they're able to eat the detritus that is there. So they have little mandibles, they eat fruit, they eat any kind of rotten vegetation, so they are helpful. If we eat a banana, they'll eat that little layer out of the banana skin, that little white layer once you peel it, and then I can compost the rest of the banana skin. I have some orange in here. So the female, if you look, is smooth across this area compared to, oh, did you hear that hiss?
I heard it.
They are hissing cockroaches. So they hiss, I like to say the males are showing off for the females, and they hiss to demonstrate dominance when they're fighting over a female territory. Sometimes you'll see them knock the other male off. So if you can come close to this male, he's got 2 little bumps over here. So the males use, they're not quite horns. You see a side view there? They use their horns to kind of battle each other. All right, let me get you. They do have little hooks on their feet. Oh, I was going on my arm. See, he's hanging under there. And I'm gonna take you so you don't crawl up my sleeve. Fun fact about cockroaches is, while I know we say, oh, they can live forever, their lifespan is, you know, a couple of years. As a species, they are certainly well adapted to their environment. They These particular ones can crawl up glass. I'm trying to see if anyone's on the glass. Well, this little guy over here is stuck on the glass. So they've got little sticky pads on their feet. And in order to have a contained environment, I have locks on my cage. I have 4 locks on my cage. I also have a layer of Vaseline across the top because they cannot walk across that. They don't, either they can't or they don't like it, but that's a barrier there. Plus I have the locks. And of course our cats have been exploring our cockroaches. My colony did start out with 4 females. Fun fact that I had forgotten about is a female can hold a fertilized egg case for months until she's ready to give birth. So I had 4 pregnant females. They don't really give birth. They are ovoviviparous, which means they have an egg case inside. The babies kind of hatch inside and then she extrudes them. She can give birth to between 20 and 50 babies at once. The babies, when they are born, are white. I wish we had a molter today. And they are soft, almost like a soft shell crab. So when they grow, they will molt their exoskeleton like a snake sheds its skin or a crab sheds its skin. So shrimp, for example, when you eat shrimp and you peel the shell, that's its exoskeleton. When you're eating a shrimp, you're eating the shrimp muscle. I often encourage the children not to eat my roaches, and of course they don't. So can we see it? There's even a little line in here. It's hard to see in the light here. Come, babe. When it's time for them to grow, their shell splits. Whoops, sorry. The shell splits and they just kind of wiggle out of their old shell, and then they're bright white. The only thing that's black are their teeny little eyes. And it takes a few hours for their shell to harden, and the color will deepen. So they are flexible. They have little hooks on their feet even. And when they make their hissing sound, they push air out of their spiracles, which are the little holes on the side, which is where they breathe, where they exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide to the environment. A baby will molt about 5 times. They're called instar stages. They will molt about 5 times. And if we look in the tank, you can see some small ones. Those are not newborns, but there's a small one. There's a larger one.
We're looking at the top, right?
I'm gonna open the tank so I can put these little friends back. There you go,
Sounds
babe.
good. Sounds good.
And then get the other one.
Hey, I'm just gonna switch back while you're doing that. So do a station identification. Hey everybody, this is Tony from Center for Enhancing Abilities. We're doing a little show today. We're calling it Creature Feature. My wife Stephanie Morales is a 7th grade science teacher in Clifton, and we're just since we're all home, she had to come home and we didn't want to leave her pets at school, so we brought some of her pets home, and well, all of them really, and figured it'd be great to share them with you today. So I'm gonna switch the camera back to her.
Okay. So, good. I only take, this is just an exoskeleton that someone shed. So it's super light, like a dead leaf. It's not dead, it's just empty. So you could almost kind of see the little crack where it's split open, and it's just an empty shell. So I can throw those out. Often they will eat. They're molting. I was going to point out some of the different age stages. Oh, here. Cool. Let me lift up this. So if we look, we have some little babies in here, right? So these are small. There are other stages. This is an adult male. That's fairly large. Actually, this one is old, and I can tell because his antennae are broken. when they get towards the end of their life, they're not going to molt anymore. Sometimes their feet actually fall off. Yeah, look at this guy. He's missing a foot over here. And that will prevent them from climbing. Usually they are very docile. Let me put this back. They're very docile. They're actually good pets. Kind of freaks people out, but they're okay. They're kind of cool.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. So, do we have any questions? Do we have questions from anybody out in Facebook land?
And if you think of some, you can always
Sure.
type them in after.
Maybe a quick shout out to people that we see. Hi, Hannah. Hello, Tara. Glad you could join us. I see Cheryl. Hello, Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl.
And Douglas. Hey, Douglas.
What's with the little scared face? They're fine. They're fine. I locked up my tank. They're fine.
Hi, Janice. Hey, Will. Hey, buddy. Hey, check out my music from yesterday. I played a Hall & Oates song for you, buddy. Hey, Nomi. All right, shall we
Continue?
Shall we continue on?
Sure, we can look over here.
Okay, hold on. Let's switch that camera, Tony.
Around.
All right.
So, this is not too exciting yet. I know. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm going to take one out. This is, oops, a praying mantis egg case. So when the mother lays her eggs, she will, it's almost like a foam, and now it has dried and hardened. It's, how would you describe that? Feel that. I mean, it's super light.
Yeah, I would say it's like a leaf, like you said, a leaf.
So it's foam. You can feel it's almost like
Yeah.
styrofoam, I guess.
Okay.
In here can be up to 200 baby praying mantises. So they all hatch on the same day. It's a survival strategy. They just come out. Normally, so there's a stick. Can we see the stick here? So she would just go onto a branch, lay her eggs, and then go off. So she's not mothering them. Actually, to go back to the cockroach babies, while they don't really have a family unit, the babies will stay on or under around the mother for a day or so. The others do not eat them. The only time I've seen them cannibalizing is when someone had trouble molting and it had died. The others ate it. Otherwise, they just eat their fruit. But, you know, as scavengers, you eat what you can.
Cool.
So the praying mantises, when they hatch out, they're tiny. They're maybe the size of my pinky nail. They are tiny, but they are voracious. They are hunters, and they need to be set free. That's what I do with them.
Douglas has a question,
Yeah,
Stephanie.
Douglas.
He said he's asking. You started out with only 3 hissing cockroaches?
Four.
Okay.
Yes. So there's actually a couple hundred in there. They do reproduce more in the summertime when it's warm, because it is a tropical organism. So in the summertime, last summer, I think we had about 300 babies born. I do cull the population from time to time, so we are not overrun. The most humane method is to put them in a Ziploc bag and put them in the freezer so they slowly go to sleep, and then they just freeze and don't wake up. It's painless, and that way we're not overrun. I cannot set them back into the environment. They would be an invasive species. They would not survive because it's a little too chilly here, but it's not something I would ever introduce. The only things that I do release to the environment are the praying mantises. I've raised ladybugs, not this year, and we just set free some butterflies that are native to the area that are intended to be outside. So the praying mantis babies, when they hatch out, they would eat each other. So I've had these for a few weeks. We are just waiting until the weather's warm enough and something tells them, and they know. They know what to do. Should I bring my chair over? I'm gonna scoot over here.
Cool. So hey everybody, do a little station ID here again. We are Center for Enhancing Abilities, and a shout out to everyone. This is Tony. I'm here with my wife Stephanie, who is a 7th grade science teacher, and we're talking about all the pets that she brought home from her classroom while we're all home. So I'm going to switch the camera back to her. We are at our set B, and we're going to take it from there.
Remote location?
Yes.
Good?
Yes.
All right, so then I have 2 frogs. These are grower frogs. This is Swimmy. Oops, sorry, hon. Swimmy is our female, and Pickles is our male. They are African clawed frogs, and let me see, come here. They actually have claws on their rear flippers, which is kind of hard to see. Let me turn their tanks.
I can see the back.
Little black, right, not on all the toes, just on, if you want to see like the first 3.
Hi, Becky. Thanks for your comment.
So here's Swimmy. So Swimmy is much larger than Pickles. These are unusual in that they are aquatic frogs. These cannot come out of the water. Like most frogs, you see them sitting on the lily pad on the shore. These are entirely aquatic. They do come to the surface to breathe. So sometimes, the kids will say, are they okay? They just hang out at the surface. You see their eyes and their little nostrils, but otherwise they just kind of hang out. I see you, cutie pie. I know, cutie is relative, but that's my little Pickles. So Pickles is tiny. Also, the frogs were named by children. The female is much larger because she is large to contain her eggs. Like any frogs, they would undergo external fertilization. Let me fix my little filter here. I don't know if you can see this picture. So this was October 2014 when I got Swimmy as just a little tadpole. And it was so cool. So we watched Swimmy grow from a clear tadpole into our plump little froggy that we have now. These are not mating. They don't usually, but I suppose they could. If they were to lay eggs, I would have to separate them because then the parents would eat the eggs. But I've had them for almost 6 years, and no eggs. I've never seen any eggs.
Wow. Got a comment from Cheryl saying that Kara had them and that they live to be 18 years old.
They can. Yeah, they can. So mine are 5 and 4. And anytime there's a 4-day weekend, I have to bring them home. They do eat their frog nuggets, which is fish meal and yeast and bone meal, but it's from the grower frog. It is very cool if you'd like. And if for some reason I couldn't take care of them anymore, I can send them back to the grower frog people, because again, you cannot release these to the environment. They wouldn't survive there, and it's not a good thing for the environment. Why
is it not a good thing for the environment?
Because it would upset the ecological balance. There are food chains and food webs, and everything has its place, its niche, and you can't mess that up. So even though I know my little son doesn't like mosquitoes, actually none of us like mosquitoes, but they serve a purpose. So while I don't necessarily need them biting us, they are part of the food chain. And if you remove part of the food chain, the rest of it will collapse, which we don't want.
That's a nice little bit of information that I didn't know.
Sure.
Cool.
So this tank is actually the only one that stays at home the whole time. We have a couple of fish in there. I may have to clean it out again. We have some invasive snails that come. So here's a little snail baby. Can we see that? I think you have to go up some.
Here, do you want to grab the camera?
Sure.
You're right there.
So let's see. Here we go. So here is a little teeny snail, and even next to it, you can't even see that. It's an even smaller snail. So when I see eggs, I do remove them. This particular snail over here we call, where'd he go? There he is. That is a tiger snail. And at the time, our son really liked Daniel Tiger, so that is Daniel Tiger snail.
That would be Adam, right?
That would be. Was it? Yes, it was. With Tiggy. How are we doing on questions?
Cool, let's see. Let's see. We're pretty good. I think we should keep going.
All right, so let's see how Sheldon is doing.
Ooh.
Sheldon is, here you go. Sheldon is our purple pincher hermit crab. And in class, since I do teach biology, there he is. Look at those adorable eyes. I love him. We talk about the different habitats that we have set out. A habitat provides everything that an organism, a living thing, needs to survive. Food, shelter,
Cool.
water. So he's actually got 2 different water supplies in here. In the gray bowl is his fresh water, because that's what he drinks, or she, it's really hard to tell. And in the red is salt water. That is what he uses to wet his gills so he can breathe oxygen. He extracts the oxygen out of the salt water to breathe, like fish. Hi, I see you. I know. So he likes coconut. He's very good at climbing. He likes hide. Like sometimes he will sit in his little corner bowl and just sit there for days. Now he's saying, all right, I'm going. They do grow. Something that is super cool is when hermit crabs grow, they don't have their own shell like a snail. They borrow someone's discarded shell. So when you're on the beach and you see a seashell, something used to live in that shell. So hermit crabs find the one that best fits them. But what they do, all the different hermit crabs line up in size order. And when the largest one hops into the new shell, they all take turns and they flip into the new shell, and hopefully everyone gets a shell. Because just like the cockroaches grow, the hermit crabs grow that way as well. So when their shells are too tight, they need to move on to a new shell.
Cool. I see a comment from Douglas saying that the frogs were awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty cool.
And hey, Andrew's checking in.
Hi, Andrew.
And Douglas also has another comment. It says, does that crab pinch you?
Not usually. I have been pinched, but not usually. I mean, when I hold him flat so he can walk. What happens is his rear legs kind of hold on, but it's the front claws that are the pinchers. They are uneven. One is used for defense, one is used for eating. So, you know, a little research topic.
Cool. Kathleen. Hello, Kathleen.
Hi, Kathleen.
And Terrence is going to check in a little later. He's taking a power nap right now.
That sounds like a good idea, Terrence.
Yeah. Cool. Cool.
I still have more.
And we've got Deborah. We've got Deborah watching.
Hey, Deb.
Cool.
Fun fact, Deb and I went to school together, you know. Elementary school, just so you know. I'm sure we've mentioned it before.
Very cool. So how we doing out there with everybody? Switch back to me for a few seconds. How we doing out there? I hope my camera work isn't too shaky for you. I probably shouldn't have had the double espresso this morning and then continued this afternoon. But I'm having a great time here. If you're just tuning in, we're Center for Enhancing Abilities, and I'm here. I'm Tony. I usually do music, but today we're doing a little segment we're calling Creature Feature. So we're highlighting some of the pets that my wife Stephanie, who is a 7th grade science teacher, has brought home. So we thought it would be a cool idea to share some of our pets with you and learn some facts about some of them. So I'm gonna switch the camera back over to her in a few seconds. But thank you everybody for tuning in. And thanks for those questions, Douglas. Those are really cool questions. And thanks, Cheryl, for letting us know that Carol also had some, what would she have, frogs? The frogs. So that's pretty cool. So I took a couple pictures before when we were getting ready for our little program here. So I'll probably post those right after this session. But once again, thanks everybody, and enough of me. I'm going to turn back over to the.
A whole bunch of pictures on Google Classroom.
Oh yeah, maybe we'll put them on Google Classroom.
That's what we'll do.
All right, so I'm going to switch the camera back over to Stephanie, and she's going to continue on.
More.
All right.
It's a biology classroom. It's so much fun. So Yoshi, I will mention that Petco, I got a grant from Petco, it's where the pets go, that enabled me to buy Yoshi, who is a leopard gecko, and I got the whole tank set up for free. So it's a grant for educators. So in my classroom, Yoshi has the most elaborate setup. As a reptile, she needs a cool side and a warm side because she is not able to regulate her temperature. Do I go and answer the door during our broadcast?
If they ring again, I'm thinking it might be a parcel.
Yes. So it could be the puzzles. As a reptile, she is cold-blooded, and I know it's a she because I did actually take her to the vet, and the vet is able to determine her gender. As a reptile, she cannot regulate her own temperature. We're warm-blooded, so when we get hot, we sweat to cool down, and oh, there she is, cutie. And then when we're cold, we shiver to warm up. So she goes, I actually have a heater under the right side of the tank. So she's got a gray house she can go in. I have a carpet. You will see crickets in there. Yoshi is a leopard gecko that eats live prey. So I have crickets. If they're white, they are covered in calcium powder because of course everyone needs strong bones. Those are our delicious worms. She gets mealworms every day. The orange bits are actually a food supply and water supply for the crickets because the crickets will actually eat the worms if there's nothing else for them to eat or if they haven't gotten eaten. I also put in some waxworms. Let me just check if her waxworms are still there. The waxworms are actually higher in fat, so she can't have them every day. Looks good. So let me see about getting our little Yosh out. Of course she needs fresh water. And there you are. She is called a blizzard. So you can see she is a solid purple color. Come back. Instead of having the spots. Something that is pretty neat about leopard geckos. Let me just put her little house back together. So she's got wet moss in there and a paper towel. So when she sheds, it's okay. When she sheds, you can put that cover down. She actually eats her skin, delicious protein. If you can see her eyes, she is unusual in that she has eyelids. Most lizards do not, and her scientific name, Eublepharis, actually refers to the good eyelids. I know. If you see her nice fat tail, like any gecko, she can drop her tail. She has not. It would grow back. We don't want her to drop her tail, but it's got stored fat, stored energy for her. I see you. Another cool thing about leopard geckos, the hole in the side of her head is actually her ear. Can we see that? Right over here. Hold on, here's what we'll try and do. I'm gonna put up her light, so she's got her nighttime light. So if I know, hold on. It depends, no, come from this side. So if you are at the right angle, you can see through her head. You can see through her ear. Do you see that? You can see the light through her ear.
Yep. Oh, I saw it
Did
for a
you
few
see
seconds.
that? Isn't that crazy? You can see right through their head. There is certainly a membrane. It's not like it's a tube, but that's a little cool thing I see about leopard geckos. She has tiny, tiny nails on her little feet. Something that is dangerous. If you look at this little foot, she has damaged toes. That's how she was when I got her. When they shed their skin, sometimes it's tough to get off their toes, and their toes kind of can lose their blood supply and die, almost like when you have frostbite.
Cool.
So
Let's go back to our
questions.
see if we have some questions. All right.
Cutie.
Cheryl is saying that Kara's frogs seemed blind. Were they really blind, or were they just acting like that?
They're not blind, but I don't know how much there is to see.
And then,
yeah, I'm curious how you know they would act blind.
And then Douglas was asking about the crabs before. What were their favorite things to eat? I think you mentioned
Well, there's some coconut in there. Right. Come, baby. I also have hermit crab cakes. It's for all land crabs. I know. Food pellets. There you go, baby. So hermit crab cakes, it's fish, basically smushed up fish, but it's dry, so it's not stinky like fish. With Yoshi is also an unusual gecko because she cannot climb glass. So I know she does not have sticky pads on her feet.
But the top of the cage, we have heat lamps because they help to keep Yoshi warm, and you could see the little thermostat in here.
I have a thermostat and a humidity gauge.
Okay, and then I guess another feature, very important feature, is we have two young kittens that are
I'm
very
gonna put Yoshi back in.
that are very curious about the environment and about all the pets that we have at home now. So certain times during the day, they like to come and hop on top of the on top of the cage here, and one of us will have to come by and clap our hands.
Get down.
Yep, and do that to keep them from kind of camping out on top there. But they definitely are interested.
Were you gonna eat a worm, baby?
Hey, let's go back to Yoshi. Let's see what Yoshi's
I them all,
doing.
baby. It's just something that I do. Are you gonna eat your worms? Because people want to see you eat your worms.
It's a nice view of Yoshi right
It
there.
is. She is adorable. So the white powder is actually calcium powder that I cover her crickets in. Come eat your worm, babe.
Cheryl's saying that they bumped into their food. I guess.
Oh, the frogs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, Yoshi's checking
And
out
that
that waxworm.
They couldn't find their food. And then Douglas is asking if the gecko is similar to the one in the Geico commercials.
Absolutely, except Yoshi does not speak, and clearly she is not green. Oh, delicious waxworms. Maybe that one's not so delicious. She was taking a little bite.
Yeah, we're gonna get. Here we go. Look at that.
And you see she was kind of closing her eyes, and then she licks her chops going, ooh, that was so delish. I personally have never tried a waxworm, but, I guess I could if I needed to. Luckily, I don't need to, so it's just fine. I have eaten crickets, though.
Hey, Yoshi, you like that, huh? What was that? A worm? What kind
That
of?
was a waxworm.
A waxworm.
Right, so they are higher in fat. They are waxier. They turn into moths. These other wiggly worms are mealworms that turn into darkling beetles. So this is their larval stage, just like when you have a caterpillar that will then change into a butterfly. You have the worms that will change into a moth or a beetle. The crickets, of course. Should I get my cricket keeper as well? I have to keep a supply of crickets, and the crickets also will grow and molt. This particular cricket I can tell is a female. If you see this kind of stick coming out of the end of her abdomen. That's what is called an ovipositor. And in the wild, she would use that to lay her eggs. We don't want any eggs. We want Yoshi to eat them. But you see that little cricket giving itself a little bath. Interestingly, I have my labels for the classroom. Everything's labeled and informative. Kind of like a rabbit or a cat. She will defecate in this same corner every day. So every day I kind of scoop it up with paper towel. And of course, after touching any animals, you should be washing your hands. You gonna go back in your house? I call it her she shed.
Was Yoshi born in London like the Geico gecko?
Not that I am aware of. I have not seen her passport. But I know that she was about 4 months old when I got her. So she turned 1 this past September. So here's a picture of her wearing her birthday hat in September. What you can do is Google leopard geckos wearing hats, and I guarantee you will not be disappointed. So something else the vet had mentioned is that even though she's the only gecko in here, she could lay eggs. And it is possible from time to time that some reptiles with the process of parthenogenesis can lay viable eggs. So every now and then I check in her she shed to see if there are any eggs now that she's an adult over 1 year of age. There are some reptiles that can lay eggs without a male, just the females will lay an egg and those eggs can hatch, which is kind of cool. Recently, a few weeks ago, there was news of a Komodo dragon in captivity that had done that. It's a process called parthenogenesis. It can happen in some sharks and some reptiles. Fun facts. So I don't want more geckos. I could have several females in a tank, but only 1 male, because if you had more than 1 male, they would compete, as many animals do. How we doing on questions?
Pretty cool. Let's see. I'm going to switch the camera back.
Sure.
To me. Hello, everybody. If you're just tuning in, this is Center for Enhancing Abilities. My name is Tony. I usually do music. And today we are, I'm joined by my wife, Stephanie, who is a 7th grade science teacher. And she is explaining some of the creatures that she has in her classroom that are now home with us. So we're sharing, we're introducing them to you. We're sharing some information about them, and happy to take any questions you might have. Let's see what we have. Oh, good question from Douglas. Mm-hmm. He's asking if any of the animals have ever escaped.
No. No. In fact, the principal at my school had made a joke that kids are not supposed to be eating in the hallways because we don't want roaches. She said the only roaches that are allowed are the ones in Mrs. Morales' classroom. So no, I definitely make sure that everything is secure. In school, I do have my critter crew. I have several students in my homeroom that volunteer to take care of them. So I have a schedule, of course. They take turns. They know which animals need what food, how to care for them. We also fill the bird feeders outside. So trying to get my students excited about biology and nature and our environment. Oh, Yosha's peeking out today. Part of the way that people get interested in the environment is definitely the animals, whether they're gross in your opinion or adorable in your opinion. Learning about them can help. If you have questions, that's the best way to learn.
Very cool. So let's see. Douglas says that was funny. And he likes that.
Good, I'm glad.
Cool. 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 Let's go back and look at the tank over here. How are we doing on time? We're pretty good. Okay, good. Oh, I had a question.
Yes.
There's a picture of a young lady over here inside the tank. Can you give us a little information about that?
Funny? Sure. So baby Grace. Grace was one of my students. She was in my 7th grade class about 3 years ago. Wow.
Wow.
So for her birthday, her friends, for some reason, had this picture of baby Grace. I don't know. But for her birthday, they made copies, and we all had a little baby Grace on a stick. So when she came in, we said, "Happy birthday!" And when this girl was in 8th grade, I showed her that I still had my baby Grace. And she says, just stick it in the cockroach tank. So I did. And that is why I have baby Grace in the cockroaches.
Cool. Now we have some,
For let me undo. That is the segment that I had out for our little friends earlier. Normally, I just tear an orange open, and they eat the entire inside. They leave the skin, but it takes a day or so because there are several cockroaches in here, and they eat the entire inside. When I eat an apple and I have an apple core, I put the apple core in there. Something they love to nibble on are strawberry tops. So that way I eat the good part of the strawberry, and they love strawberry leaves. I did have some plants in my little yellow dinosaur from the Target dollar section.
Cool.
But they keep eating the plants. You see that little guy stuck on?
Yeah, we have a nice shot of a nice visual here of one of them from underneath. So you can see the same kind of pattern as on the top.
Right. Although this one seems round, I'm wondering if that is a gravid female. Gravid meaning full of eggs. It's hard to see with the light. This triangle is its head right under there.
Cool.
That is cool. I wonder if they can hiss. We'll see if they hiss again.
I do remember from holding them that they similarly, like if you were to touch their exoskeleton, that it would it'd be similar to like if you touching your fingernail. So that kind of same texture, right?
Yeah, it's dry. When kids say, "Ew, it's slimy," I said, "No, that means you're sweaty." Let's see if we can hear anything. Is anyone startled? No?
Oh, I just heard one.
Yeah. They can actually hiss at 90 decibels, which is about the sound of a lawnmower or a hairdryer. So they can be very loud.
Wow, that's pretty funky.
It is. We also have domestic short-haired cats.
Oh, yeah.
But that's our hair. I'm going to steal your blanket. So this is Jack.
Hey, Jack.
Jack is a domestic short-haired cat. Cats will, these are not classroom pets, by the way. These are home pets. We have Jack and we have Pepper. They are 2 boys. They are about 6 months old. And like many cats, they will spend their time sleeping. I see you, cutie boy. So.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool. So, do we have any questions? Do we have any questions, folks?
What was that? Do they hiss to scare away? There was a question.
Okay, hold on. Do they hiss to scare you away sometimes?
It's really to indicate perhaps their displeasure, or if I'm startling them, like I startle easily. So if you sneak up on me, I might go, "Oh!" It's similar to that. Like I'm not a threat to them, but they don't necessarily know that.
Cool. All right. Do we have any more questions? Well, if not, we definitely want to thank you. Oh, we got another question coming in. Do the roaches prefer fresh or rotting fruit? That's a good question. Thank you.
It really is. I prefer fresh fruit because I don't want it to stink in there. It doesn't have a scent. I do clean it every couple of months. It's not a frequent thing like frogs. I need to clean those frogs at least once a week because, man, that stinks. The roaches, it's fairly dry. It's a coconut husk substrate. Their fecal matter is dry little pellets, so when I change out the tank, I clean all that. The strawberries that I had in the other day, they didn't eat all the strawberries, so there was some mold. I really don't want to generate mold cultures, so that's why I prefer fresh fruit in there. In the wild, they would eat whatever's available. So they are helpful in their ecosystem as scavengers. They're not hunters. They're just going to eat whatever they can find to eat. For our health reasons, we don't want rotting fruit. But if there are oranges that are, a little too ripe, I can put them in there. I'm not going to eat it, but they can eat it.
Cool.
He's got some good questions, Douglas.
Becky's asking if we have a tarantula.
I do not. I was offered one once. I have touched a tarantula. They actually, on their legs, they're as soft as a kitten. You would never believe it. But on their abdomen, they have irritating hairs so if you're touching that part or if you were trying to bite them, their irritating hairs could cause a rash and discomfort. And certainly they have venom in their fangs. Different species have different types of venom. I really don't know too much about them. I know our friend Wanda enjoys her cockroach. She does enjoy her cockroaches, her tarantula. You can look up the Goliath bird-eating tarantula, which is like this big. It's the largest tarantula.
Wow.
So no, I do not have any.
That's awesome. And another, statement from Douglas saying that all the info is awesome and the roaches are his favorite.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad. And what I will do is upload a whole bunch of pictures and videos. I have a video of them molting. We'll put that on Google Classroom for you.
Cool.
And that'll be super cool.
Cool. Let's switch back. All right, everybody. So, definitely thanks everybody for tuning in. Whoops. Thanks everybody for
pleasure,
tuning
Douglas.
in. Thank you for joining us today. Once again, this is Center for Enhancing Abilities. I'm Tony, and this is my wife Stephanie. She's a 7th grade science teacher, and we're just sharing some of our pets that are home, our critters that are home, in our little creature feature for today.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, we're gonna sign off. Thank you, everybody. If you have any other questions, if you won't watch the video and have some questions, definitely chime in. Let us know. Mm-hmm. We'll make sure to answer and follow up with you. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Wash your hands. I got to go wash my hands.
Yeah, me too. I will see you tomorrow at 2:30. I'll be doing some music. It'll be a fantastic Friday. Inspired by Deborah's earlier Facebook Live session where she was talking from, I guess, the basement and had the sunshine behind her. So I'm hoping tomorrow we'll have a nice day, maybe play some music outside, and we're just going to have a great time. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I miss everybody. We'll see you soon. And what's that? Cheryl's chiming in. Thank you, Cheryl, and thank you, Carol, for sharing information about your pets. And by all means, folks, if you got pets, I think Nita did a cool little project with everybody where she was asking them to take pictures of their pets. Please, if you haven't, definitely go give that share your pets pictures with us. Also, I in Google Classroom, I have 2 little photo challenges. If you get a chance to check those out and have some fun with shadows or any kind of circles you may find in your home. So we'll leave you now, and we'll see you tomorrow at 2:30 for some music for a fantastic Friday. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care. Thank you so much.